From The National, this is Trending Middle East. I'm Yasmin Al-Taji. It's Monday, April 7th. Here are today's headlines. The U.S. and the Middle East are bracing for another week of uncertainty after U.S. President Donald Trump's new tariffs took effect. Stock markets in the Middle East were at their worst in 5 years. They're held down by slumping oil prices and investor concerns that new tariffs imposed by the Trump administration could disrupt global trade and stunt economic growth. Shares in Saudi Aramco, the world's largest oil exporting company, were down 4.75%. Also taking a hit is the global sea shipping industry. Tariffs are prompting customs agents' collections at airports, seaports, and customs warehouses across the U.S.
We're going to start being smart, and we're going to start being very wealthy again.
Trump announced a minimum 10% reciprocal tariff on all exports to the U.S. last week, with additional levies that are set to bring total tariffs up to 54% for China. Higher levies on goods from larger trading partners are scheduled to start on Wednesday. The move by Trump has stoked fears of full-blown international trade wars, raised risks of economic recession, and prompted retaliatory responses from some countries. Conflict in Sudan is threatening to move the civil war to the country's previously unscathed north. It's a possibility that would center the home of the nation's traditional political and economic elite. Parts of Khartoum and a region north of the Sudanese capital were without electricity on Saturday following a drone attack against a hydroelectric dam. That's according to a statement from the National Power Company. The National's Hamza Hendawi reports.
It was early on Saturday morning when the power station of the hydroelectric dam at Marawi, north of Khartoum, was attacked by drones.
The attack followed threats made on April 3rd by the RSF second-in-command, Abdurrahim Dagalo, that the paramilitary force planned to take its war against the National Army to the north of the country.
The National Power Company did not identify who is behind the attack. However, a separate statement by the 9th Infantry Division that is based at Marawi did blame the Rapid Support Forces for the attack, and it did say that it was able to shoot down other drones that attacked the dam on the Nile north of Khartoum.
It comes amid ongoing conflict between Sudan's National Armed Forces and the paramilitary Rapid Support Forces, or RSF.
To take the fight to northern Sudan would fit the RSF's claim that it is fighting to inequality and a fair share of resources for the people of the margins, which is the phrase commonly used in Sudan to refer to residents of the country's outlying and impoverished regions such as Darfur, Kordofan, and Blue Nile. It is worth noting here that the birthplace of the RSF is Darfur, and its forerunner is the Janjaweed militia, which has been widely blamed for gross abuses against civilians there, particularly ethnic African communities in Darfur.
British Foreign Secretary David Lammy has called Israel's detention of 2 UK members of parliament, quote, unacceptable. Yuan Yang and Abtisam Mohammed from the governing Labour Party flew from London to Israel but were blocked from entering and then deported. That's according to reports from British media. Israel's Interior Ministry said in a statement reported by Israeli media that the pair were refused entry because they intended to spread, quote, hateful rhetoric against Israel and the Israeli population. The Israeli military resumed its offensive on the Gaza Strip on March 18th, marking the end of a fragile 2-month truce. Since then, more than 1,000 Palestinians have been killed, including 322 children, according to the Egyptian Foreign Ministry. The UN Agency for Palestinian Refugees said more than 142,000 people have been displaced in that time. Meanwhile, Israel said it deployed troops to its new Marag corridor on Saturday. Maps published by Israeli media showed the corridor running the width of the narrow coastal strip from east to west. That's all for this morning's headlines. You can get these stories and follow live updates at our site. Yasmin Al-Taji, The National.